Politicians lie. It is in their nature to lie. They will tell us they are doing whatever they are doing for sake of the rakyat, God, king and country, and for democracy, justice, good governance, transparency, and much more. Yeah, sure, and pigs can fly, and auntie has balls. Politicians do things for only one reason, for themselves, and for no other reason. If it was to serve the rakyat, God, king and country, then they would not become politicians. And any politician who opens his or her mouth to say he or she is serving the rakyat, you can straight away reject him or her as a fraud. Ousting Muhyiddin Yassin is not as easy after all as they initially thought. Why are some politicians from both sides of the political divide so angry with Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin? Is Muhyiddin not doing his job? Is he not serving the rakyat, God, king and country? Is he not combating the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic? Is he not keeping the COVID-19 death rate low compared to other countries that are losing the battle against COVID-19? No, they are not angry with Muhyiddin because of all that. In fact, if they take over the government, they will do exactly the same as what Muhyiddin is doing. They will never be able to do things better or differently. They are angry with Muhyiddin because Muhyiddin won and they lost. And they here are not just the politicians from Pakatan Harapan but some from UMNO as well. Anwar Ibrahim wants to go to court to challenge His Majesty Seri Paduka Baginda Yang Di Pertuan Agong's declaration of the emergency. Why? Is the declaration illegal? Is it unconstitutional? In what way will democracy be eroded or compromised by this declaration of an emergency? The declaration of an emergency does not change anything. Life goes on as usual under new normal conditions, of course. The only difference is it gives the government extraordinary powers to combat the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic and prevent millions from getting infected and tens of thousands of Malaysians dying from the virus. And what is wrong with saving lives? Do we want to see 1 or 2 million Malaysians infected with COVID-19 and 100,000 deaths? Are the current infection and death rates not enough? Why do we want to see it increase tenfold or 20-fold? Pakatan Harapan's spin versus the real figures meant to suggest the government is lying. The reason Anwar wants the emergency removed is because this prevents him from ousting the Prime Minister. Anwar has made a deal with UMNO, DAP and Amanah to oust Muhyiddin Yassin and topple the Perikatan National Government so that he can take over as the 9th Prime Minister or PM9. Anwar was hoping that on the 31st of January 2021 the UMNO Assembly will vote in favour of the party leaving the government. Anwar will then request an audience with His Majesty the Agong, yet again, to inform His Majesty that Muhyiddin no longer has the confidence of the majority members of the House. Hence His Majesty needs to demand Muhyiddin's resignation or for Parliament to be dissolved to make way for a snap general election or GE15. It is now a matter of pride and ego for Anwar after claiming he has the numbers and yet Muhyiddin is still Prime Minister. Of course, Anwar is arguing he is doing this for the sake of the rakyat, God, king and country, and for democracy, justice, good governance, transparency, etc. Sure, and pigs can fly, and auntie has balls. Anwar feels he is God's gift to Malaysia and has been anointed by God to become Malaysia's Prime Minister. Anwar has been Malaysia's Prime Minister in waiting for 30 years since 1991 and can no longer afford to wait another 30 years since he might be dead within the next 15 years or so. Anwar knows, with just Pakatan Harapan support alone, he can never oust Muhyiddin. He needs UMNO's support as well. So, he has offered UMNO a deal. Once he takes over as PM9, he will drop all the court cases against those UMNO leaders facing the possibility of long jail sentences. UMNO sold Anwar out in the Budget 2021 backdoor vote of no confidence plot last year and will sell Anwar out again at the end of this month. Those UMNO leaders who have only two options, allow Anwar to become the Prime Minister or go to jail, will, of course, support Anwar to oust Muhyiddin. Anwar as Prime Minister may not be the best thing in the world, but jail is far worse. Hence it is a choice between bad and worse. No doubt they cannot admit this. So, Anwar will have to say he is trying to oust Muhyiddin for the sake of the rakyat, God, king and country, and for democracy, justice, good governance, transparency, and so on. And UMNO will have to say they are trying to oust Muhyiddin because PPBM is bullying UMNO. Then everything will sound noble and not for self-interests. And pigs can fly, and auntie has balls.